What's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here, and got two things for you guys this morning. It is currently 8:45. I just uploaded today's video, which you guys will have seen yesterday. But I'm convinced of two things. First, Casey didn't wear sunglasses so that he couldn't, people couldn't tell when he was looking at the screen next to him. I'm pretty much convinced he wore sunglasses because when you upload every day, you get real tired and you get bags under your eyes, and this is the easiest way to hide them. The other thing I'm convinced is that I just realized that in this video I shot using my Canon EOS R, and I never even told you guys that I got one. So, and I know you guys are probably gonna have questions as far as like, are you still shooting Sony? Have you switched back over to Canon? And so the answer to that question is pretty much Alright, so this is the Canon EOS R, and this is the Sony a7 III. We're going to talk about why I have both of them. So a couple months ago, I actually reviewed this guy here, which is the Canon EOS R, and when I reviewed it, a lot was different. First of all, this camera was $2,200. Also, this camera had really crappy eye autofocus, and it had a massive crop in 4K. Actually, I'm sorry. That's still true. It still has a crappy crop in 4K. They haven't fixed that yet. But they're working. The other big difference was when I reviewed this camera, I also was shooting on mirrorless cameras for all my video production stuff. That included video and photo. But now I own the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, and now I just need this camera to be a photo camera. And as a photo camera goes, this thing is really good. All right, but you know what? Let's talk quality, because that's really what you guys want to know about these two cameras. As far as the quality goes, I find that the Canon, what it does better than the Sony. So what I mean by that is, like, this thing does 1080p very, very well. I mean, it does 1080p phenomenally. It shoots full frame, great. But when it comes to 4K, that massive crop really sucks. And then when it comes to 4K, then I tend to like the Sony more, because the Sony does a better job at it. Where the Sony does eye autofocus, this actually now does eye autofocus, and it does it really well. I mean, they pretty much go hand in hand. So quality wise, they're both really good, but I wouldn't expect anything else in 2019. Now also, because it is 2019 and the quality is really good, well, you ask yourself, well, which one has more bit rate? Maybe the Canon wins in bit rate, or what does that do with coloring? Honestly, they're both great. Yes, you can shoot C-Log in this one here, and this one here is gonna allow you to shoot in a ton of different picture profiles. But when you go to grade them, honestly, if you know what you're doing, you're gonna be able to get good images out of both. So it really comes down to, is this going to be your main shooter? Now for me, my main video shooter is the Blackmagic. That's not changing anytime soon. But I will say, when it comes to photos, I've been really gravitating over to the Canon more and more, primarily because I have a lot more Canon lenses that go with this, and then also because out of the camera, the quality of the photos are so good on the EOS R. Now, of course, the other thing that you have to consider is price. The Sony is still $2,000 or $1,999, and the Canon is now coming in at $1,799. So this one has dropped quite a bit, which definitely makes it more affordable, but also it really sucks when it comes to thinking about like the resale value. Like, for example, when this camera came out about a year ago, this camera was $2,200, and now you can buy one new for $1,800. If you're trying to sell your camera a year later, you pretty much lost quite a bit of value, unlike with the Sony. And I think that's because the Sony has been really holding on to the hype side of things, but also Sony has just not dropped that price. The other thing you got to ask yourself is, what are you going to be using these cameras for? Like I mentioned, when it comes to photography, the EOS R is a great camera, and for the price, pound for pound, this is definitely probably the better solution to go with. But if you're thinking about using it for video, you have to ask yourself, really, do you need 4K? And for me, I don't, which is the reason why I picked up the EOS R, to see if, for the photography side of things, can it do the job? And honestly, it really, really can. So now I'm sitting here with two very expensive camera bodies with two very expensive lenses, And at the end of the day, I'm only gonna end up with the one. And you know what? I have to say, as of right now, it's really been the Canon EOS R. And I really hate to say that, because when this camera first came out, I was not a huge fan of it. I even made a video saying that it was good, but not good enough. But at the time, I was looking for something that could do both photography and video. But really, all I need this thing to do now is to shoot photography and help me with my YouTube videos. And as you guys can tell right now, I'm really liking my iPhone to help me a lot with these YouTube videos, because that's what I'm shooting this on right now. So really, the EOS R does the job for me, but that doesn't mean that Sony is bad by any means. I mean, that's the reason why I haven't given this camera up yet, is because it's so good that there are times where I still find myself needing to pick this up, and I don't really see myself buying two EOS Rs. Like, I don't really want to have two different, like, of the exact same camera. So right now, I'm kind of playing around with both of them. But if you're in that boat and you're trying to figure out, you know, what do you need? If you want one camera that's going to do both very well, photo and video, and you're not too worried about filming yourself, well then honestly, I think the Sony a7 III is a great solution. But if you are going to do YouTube stuff, you don't care about 4K, then honestly, the EOS R is the way to go. They're both great cameras, and I love shooting on both of them, but that's just my input. By the way, if you're wondering, yes, I am in Houston. This is my hometown. Yeah, it sucks the Astros lost, but I'm still Houston till I die. You know, I honestly don't think this video is going to convince anyone who's feeling one way or the other. Whether you're shooting on Sony or you're shooting on Canon, I don't see most people switching. But I figured I'd make this video anyway, because like in my last video, I showed you guys that I am now shooting with the EOS R. So I just wanted to give you guys my input on why I like these two cameras and why I'm shooting with the one I'm shooting with now. But now I have to go, because I've actually got a photo shoot at University of Houston right now. That's one of my clients. And I'm gonna be late. I love this location. So many awesome places to shoot. All right, I really I just realized I didn't really end this video. So this is the end of the video. Also, I'll figure out how to make the audio better. Shooting with your iPhone. It's good, but I'm trying to make it better.